Chapter 45:29. Chapter 45:29. The era controlled by the Tao of Heaven wrong. It's all wrong. It took a long, long time. After reading through the memories of the Wukong old man, Duan Lingtian sighed in his heart. He knew that after the historical separation, the outside world, and even the practitioners of all realms had gone the wrong way. Before entering the realm of the upper gods, one should first comprehend the law to the realm of great perfection, and then comprehend one of the four realms of heaven and earth to the seventh level. In this case, after passing the punishment, step into the realm of the upper gods, and after sensing the call of the realm of the strongest, respond to it and step directly into the realm of the superpower. In this way, as soon as you enter the Xian, it is the existence of the seventh order of Xian. Xian seventh order, what is that concept? Even the most powerful saints in the world outside the world, and even the practitioners of the world, are the Jesuin realm powerhouse, which is only the sixth rank of the strongest. Wrong. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian thought of one more thing. Contemporary cultivators, after stepping into the realm of the God King, will face the test of a 1,000-year-old catastrophe. Before the historical partition, according to the memory of the Wukong old man, it was only once every 10,000 years that he had to face a catastrophe. Also, look at the calamity faced by the Wukong old man. Every interval, the power is limited, and it should be equivalent to the power of the two contemporary robbery intervals. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian took a deep breath. He has already vaguely guessed something. Has the rules of heaven and earth changed? Did heaven do it? Apart from this possibility, Duan Lingtian could never think of the second possibility. Combining the memory of the old man Wukong and synthesizing the current situation, he also faintly felt that the invisible hand of Tiandao seems to be controlling this era, making it difficult for this era to give birth to the existence of the seventh order Xian. Perhaps it's because there are old people like Wukong who can threaten the existence of heavenly Tao between the historical partitions. So, for the cultivators who appeared after the historical separation this time, he treated them as piglets and kept them in captivity, preventing them from stepping above the seventh rank of the Xian, threatening its strength. Although this metaphor is somewhat sad for all contemporary practitioners, including saints, but it seems to be the truth. Indisputable fact. In this era, even if you know that there are such restrictions, there are still a few people who can successfully master the laws of the great perfection realm and the seventh order heaven and earth realm in the realm of the median god. The catastrophe once in 1,000 years, that's no joke. Before stepping into the strongest, before history was cut off, the robbery was once every 10,000 years. After the history is cut off, the robbery comes once every 1,000 years. Even if there are some middle-rank gods, they have the intention to comprehend the law to the great perfection before stepping into the realm of the upper gods, and the four ways of heaven and earth can reach the seventh level. Once the catastrophe that threatens their lives arrives, will they choose to die or choose to simply become a superior and shatter the catastrophe? The answer is obvious. No wonder this Wukong old man said, "The way of heaven is not benevolent, and it treats all things as cud dogs." Isn't that so? Duan Lingtian sighed, and there was a bit of happiness in his eyes. Fortunately, I haven't stepped into the Xian realm. Otherwise, in this life, it will be difficult to step into the seventh order of Xian. Even before the historical partition, there was no Xian who stepped into the seventh order of Xian from below the seventh order of Xian. Even if they comprehend the law to the great perfection at the sixth level of the Xian, and comprehend the four realms of heaven and earth to the seventh level, the punishment they are waiting for will kill them. The upper gods, although facing the kind of punishment, it is still a 9-death life. But after all, there is a chance. Moreover, I have now integrated the memories of the old man Wukong. Even if I face the kind of punishment in the future, I can be considered experienced, and it will definitely not be more difficult than when the old man Wukong faced that kind of punishment. In addition, Thinking of the achievements of the old man Wukong in his life, his eyes are full of heat. He used a shocking method to perfectly preserve his memory, including his various understandings of swordsmanship and even the profound meaning of laws. As long as you give me time, I can completely digest this information and have his achievements in swordsmanship and the profound meaning of law before his death. At this moment, Duan Lingshan's heart couldn't help but be restless. The previous achievements of the empty old man, Kendo, 9th Order, the way of control, the 8th Order, the way of infinity, the 8th Order, the laws of space, the laws of death, and the laws of life have all stepped into the realm of great perfection. There are 4 ways of heaven and earth. There are only 4 in total. Except for the way of devouring, he actually realized all of them to this level. No wonder even heavenly Tao is afraid of him. Moreover, according to the memory of the old man Wukong, the reason why he was able to have the strength of the 9th rank of Xian before his death was because he comprehended the law of life and the law of death at the same time to the realm of great perfection and penetrated life and death. In addition to the achievements in the field of the way of control and the way of infinite, we are able to have the strength of the 9th rank of the strongest. According to his inference, if he comprehends either the way of control or the way of infinite to the 9th Order, his strength will be enough to go further and reach the peak of the 9th Order of the strongest. If both step into the 9th Order, his strength will be on par with heaven. At that time, even if the Tao of heaven shatters the heavens and the earth, returns everything in the world to chaos and cuts off history, it won't affect him. Duan Lingtian was inexplicably shocked. Wukong, old man, too powerful. How could there be such a powerful person in the world? Moreover, it is such an incomparably powerful character, who is still forced by heaven to escape into the land of return to the ruins before the historical partition, leaving a lifetime of memories. The purpose of his doing this is to cultivate a successor who can compete with heavenly Tao. The first 2 returned to the market opened, and there were outstanding people, but he didn't like it. This time he saw me. Of course, according to his memory, in fact, his most ideal successor is the kind of person who comprehends Kendo to the 7th level, and even comprehends the law of space, the law of life, or the law of death to the realm of great perfection. But he has no chance. So choose me. In his eyes, am barely qualified to be his successor. Duan Lingtian shook his head. In this era of heaven's restrictions, it is estimated that it is difficult to find a person who can comprehend Kendo to the 7th level at the same time and comprehend one of the 3 laws of space law, life law, and death law to the realm of great perfection. His master was gentle, and the swordsmanship should have stepped into the 7th Order. However, in terms of rules, it does not meet the requirements of the empty old man. If you are not good at the law of space, the law of life, and the law of death, it will be a very long process to digest the memory of the Wukong old man and make it his own. He must find a suitable successor. Duan Lingtian sighed. He knew that the opportunity he got this time might become the biggest chance he had ever had in his life. In the future, even if there are still some opportunities, it is definitely impossible to surpass this one. Lifetime memory of the super strong standing at the peak before the historical partition. What other chance can be compared with it? The rest of the time, just stay in the land of return to the ruins to digest his memory. As soon as possible, let my space law be perfectly integrated into the swordsmanship, and let the swordsmanship become the space swordsmanship. Because, according to the memory of the old man Wukong, in his land of return to the ruins, the valuable things were all broken by him and integrated into the land of return to the ruins, consolidating the land of return to the ruins. In this way, there is no need for him to waste time looking for anything. Even now, he can clearly know all the mysteries of this place of return to the ruins. But it doesn't make any sense. There was nothing worth taking for him. Miss Wei. At this moment, Duan Lingtian suddenly thought of the Night-Night mid-saint from the Duan clan in the Tourmaline holy city before coming to this place of return to the ruins this time. In his eyes raging anger ignited. Perhaps it won't take long. I will be able to avenge you. Duan Yuai's death, he always felt that there was a large part of his own reasons. If he hadn't asked Duan Yuai to return to the God-defying realm with him, when he returned from the God-defying realm, he would not have appeared in that area and would not have been targeted by Duan Yuai's enemies. End of this chapter. Chapter 45-30 for the rest of the time. Duan Lingtian didn't go anywhere, just stayed where he was, reading the memories left by the old man Wukong. Although the memory of the Wukong old man is complete, it is perfectly integrated into his memory and becomes a part of his memory, which can be consulted in a single thought. However, the Wukong old man's perception of the four ways of heaven and earth and the profound meaning of the law cannot be inherited by mere memory. Also needs to be digested. However, after all, even the memory is there, and the speed of digestion is naturally fast. Nearly a year has passed. Duan Lingtian also stopped. The moment he opened his eyes, Duan Lingshan's eyes were filled with a few sword lights, and after a while they disappeared. There was also a smile on his face, although the time is still short. But my space law, obviously the entry is extremely fast. It feels like a year or two at most. My space law can be perfectly integrated into the swordsmanship, and then step into the realm of great perfection. Old Wukong was the best at space swordsmanship. It's his name with the word empty. At this time, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but remember that before he came in, the master of the Bibo Tianfu Golden Dragon Palace invited him to enter the Bibo Tianfu Golden Dragon Palace and gave him the name of Void Sword. No space void. Maybe this is fate. Duan Lingtian said secretly, "Now it's almost time to go out." Thinking of this, Duan Lingshan's thoughts moved. He left the place, went outside, found an exit nearby, and went straight out. While going out, he suddenly thought of something. Then Yao Xingchen. Shouldn't he be killed by that Yao Tianchen? Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly. Since he got the memory of the Wukong old man, he has no longer wandered in this place of return to the ruins, and went to comprehend the laws of space and swordsmanship. However, the mortality rate this time is estimated to be not small. Duan Lingtian thought about the big movement made by the old man Wukong before he got the memory of the old man Wukong. Many people died at that time, including an invincible superior god. The invincible high-ranking named Zhengbin, who is good at the laws of the Earth system. Fortunately, I barely met the requirements of the Wukong old man. Otherwise, I would have died at his hands. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but feel fortunate. When Duan Lingtian came out through the exit, but in an instant I sensed a few breaths coming. It is the few Bibo Tianfu Supreme powerhouses headed by Xiao Tianxi, the master of the Bibo Tianfu Golden Dragon Palace, and there are a few figures not far away that quickly gallop towards this side. However, at this moment, the faces of several people are particularly solemn. Someone came out. Palace Master Xiao, is this someone who just came out? To Duan Lingtian, the few people who came over were unfamiliar faces, but it was certain that all of them were superpowers. He is a disciple of the Golden Dragon Palace that I newly invited to Bibo Tianfu. Look, the Void Sword Duan Lingtian. Xiao Tianxi introduced Duan Lingtian, then looked at Duan Lingtian and asked in front of the others, "Duan Lingtian, what happened inside? Why are so many people dead?" Hearing Xiao Tianxi's words, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized, yes, the last time the Wukong old man took action, so many people died, and it was impossible to find nothing outside. After all, most of the group of people who went in with him were disciples of Bibo Tianfu. If they died inside, the soul beads and soul cards of Bibo Tianfu would definitely shatter. Duan Lingtian came back to his senses and shook his head. "Palace Master, I'm not too sure. However, when I was inside, I did hear a loud noise coming from afar. Later, I went to investigate, but found a large area of the area is shrouded by a mysterious force, and there is no way to enter. The power Duan Lingtian said was exactly the power that the Wukong old man left behind in the land of returning ruins. In fact, that is also the power of the land of ruins. It's just that the place where the old man Wukong shot was circled in, so that other people in the land of return to the ruins could not spy on everything inside. And he came from that place. There should be a lot of people who know this too. When they come out, you can just ask them, Hall Master. Duan Lingtian said. At this moment, those few faces couldn't help but ask, Duan Lingtian, before and after that power appeared, what abnormality can you detect? Duan Lingtian, have you checked that place carefully? Duan Lingtian. These few people's faces are not very good-looking now, and between words, they asked Duan Lingtian about various things in the land of returning to the ruins. Just when Duan Lingtian didn't know who to answer first, Xiao Tianxi spoke up. Okay, everyone. Even if you want to ask, you should ask them one by one. Now that you are asking all these questions, how should Duan Lingtian answer? And if I want to say, if you really want to ask, it's best to wait for the rest of the people to come out before asking. We Bibo Tianfu disciples, there are still many people who have survived. For example, Yao Xingqian and others. So far, the news that Bibo Tianfu has given me is that their soul beads and soul cards have not been broken. Still alive. Following Xiao Tianxi's opening, several people became quiet. At this time, Xiao Tianxi's voice transmission came from Duan Lingtian's ear. All of them have disciples who have entered the land of return to the ruins, and they are all dead. Hearing this, Duan Lingtian was stunned, and finally understood why these people looked ugly. It turned out that their disciples all died inside. Next, in the face of these people's questions one by one, Duan Lingtian also answered one by one, and the answers were watertight. In the end, everyone was disappointed. This Duan Lingtian cannot provide him with anything of value. Duan Lingtian, a superpower behind Xiao Tianxi, after seeing Duan Lingtian idle, immediately stepped forward and took the ring from Duan Lingtian's hand. And the divine consciousness swept through, probed Duan Lingtian, and after confirming that there was nothing hidden in Duan Lingtian, he also returned Duan Lingtian's own ring to him. At this time, Xiao Tianxi asked Duan Lingtian, Duan Lingtian, I have already greeted someone and asked him to come pick you up and go back to Bibo Tianfu to go through the formalities for entering the palace. You go back with him later. He is also a disciple of the Golden Dragon Palace, the fourth disciple of my family. Xiao Tianxi said, It is good. Hearing Xiao Tianxi's words, Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up. After all, those people in the land of return to the ruins will probably only come out in 10 days, so it doesn't make much sense to wait here. At the same time, he has always had some yearning for Bibo Tianfu. After all, this is a force with strong saints. Saint, it's also a poor man. Thinking of the memory of the Wukong old man, Duan Lingtian sighed in his heart. He knows that all saints in the world outside the world, and even the 10,000 worlds, will never have the opportunity to step into the 7th rank of Xian, and they will only die under the 10,000-year catastrophe that is stronger than one time. Chapter 45:31. However, no matter how pitiful the saint is, killing me now is just a matter of snapping your fingers. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian laughed at himself. Now that he, let alone stepping into the realm of the strongest, has not even comprehended the realm of great perfection, how can he be qualified to talk about the saint? Moreover, if he met the saint now, he could not wait to ask the other party to take action and release the imprisonment of the soul originating from the Soul Clan for his wife Kir. Soon, the fourth disciple under his sect that Xiao Tianxi said came. It was a young man in a blue robe with a resolute appearance and angry eyes. After he came over, he hurriedly saluted Xiao Tianxi. Kui, I have seen Master. He was the fourth disciple of Xiao Tianci Kui. It is also one of the only 2 disciples under Shao Tiance's family who have not stepped into the realm of the strongest. Kui, I told you everything in the subpoena. You bring Duan Lingtian back to the mansion to go through the formalities for entering the mansion. From now on, he will be our Golden Dragon Hall disciple. Shao Tianci said to Kui, "Yes, master." After Kui responded, he looked at Duan Lingtian beside him and said enthusiastically, "Hello, I'm Kui. It'll take you back to the mansion to go through the formalities." "It is good." Duan Lingtian responded and followed Kui away from Shao Tianci, and after confirming that Shao Tianci could no longer hear his words, Kui looked at Duan Lingtian enviously. "Brother Lingtian, you are the first non-superpower in our Golden Dragon Hall to be honored by the gods. The one who gave the name Void Sword." "Awesome." Duan Lingtian was startled. "Isn't this title a name other than a name? Why should you care so much?" Kui stared. "Brother Lingtian, you don't know. Among the various halls in the Bibo Tianfu, only the palace guardian disciple with the highest status among the hall disciples has his own name, right? Furthermore, this title cannot be taken by oneself. It must be bestowed by the master of a hall. This point, even the palace master of our Bibo Tianfu can't intervene. The Golden Dragon Hall is the master's private plot. Although it also belongs to Bibo Tianfu, it has enough autonomy. Moreover, our Golden Dragon Hall is the top 3 temples among the 16 halls in Bibo Tianfu." Following Kui's words, Duan Lingtian also gained a further understanding of Bibo Tianfu. In the past, he only knew that Bibo Tianfu was the strength of saints, and there were saints in charge. But now, Kui told him that in the Bibo Tianfu, in addition to the normal disciples of the outer palace and the inner palace, there were also 16 temples. The temple called Bibo Temple that the current palace master of Bibo Tianfu is also in charge of is the temple of the current palace master of Bibo Tianfu, but it is not the strongest. Like the Golden Dragon Palace, it only ranks in the top 3. The strongest hall is the one where the sage of Bibo Tianfu is located, called the Tianshui Hall. However, it is not the saint who is the master of the Tianshui Temple. That saint is just the previous generation of the temple master of Tianshui Temple, and the current temple master of Tianshui Temple is his eldest disciple and a powerful semi-sacred powerhouse. In Bibo, Tianfu, Tianshui Hall, Bibo Hall, and Golden Dragon Hall are the top 3 halls. Before, in our Bibo Tianfu, only Tianshui Hall and Bibo Hall had invincible superior gods. Now, with your participation, our Golden Dragon Palace finally has an invincible superior god. Don't look at the seriousness of the master. Even when he mentioned you to me, he also revealed a lot of surprise. Obviously, he didn't expect you to become an invincible, high-ranking soon after he invited you into the Golden Dragon Palace. Duan Lingtian was invited by Shao Tianci first. Later, Shao Tianci brought him into the small world inside his body. In addition, Shao Tianci also asked the old man beside him to help him understand the laws of space, and in the discussion with the old man, he touched the threshold of the 7th rank of Kendo and only had the strength of an invincible superior god. I asked Shurzuin why he didn't accept you as his 6th disciple. Shurzuin said that he is not worthy of being your teacher. Now, there are a total of 5 people under the master's sect. There are 2 senior brothers and 1 senior sister above me, all of whom have stepped into the realm of the strongest, and the weakest is also the 3rd rank of the strongest. My strength is estimated to be comparable to that before your breakthrough and achievement of the invincible upper god. The little junior brother behind me is a little weaker than me. However, I think his talent is better than mine, and it will be a matter of time before he catches up with me. Kui is very talkative. Duan Lingtian was on the way to Bibo Tianfu with him, and before he entered Bibo Tianfu, he basically knew the situation inside Bibo Tianfu and the situation inside the Golden Dragon Palace. However, After actually entering the Bibo Tianfu station, Duan Lingtian was still shocked by the scene in front of him. The Bibo Tianfu station is not so much a station, but rather a boundless space that is located outside the boundary, but independent of the boundary. The resident of Bibo Tianfu has always been located in the small world of the saint's body. However, I suspect that the small world in the body of the saint where Bibo Tianfu resides is not the small world in the body of the saint in the Tianshui temple. Ku Yi's words were said to Duan Lingtian by the sound transmission. Why? Duan Lingtian was puzzled and asked through voice transmission. Because many years ago, the master and the master of the Tianshui temple fought a real fire. In the end, the saint behind the Tianshui temple also came out to persuade him. But I feel that his power seems to be suppressed. It's like a superpower, the feeling of entering a small world in another superpower. Of course, I don't know if it's my illusion. At the beginning, I was also there. When everyone's attention was on the saint, I was also observing him, and I obviously felt this way. It was also that I realized the third order of the infinite way at the time. If I see him again now, I may be able to further confirm whether Bibo Tianfu resides in a small world within his body. Koi said, "The infinite way." Hearing Ku Yi's words, Duan Lingtian's eyes flickered a few times. He seldom encountered practitioners who mastered the way of infinite. However, in the memory of the Wukong old man he recently got, there is the understanding of the infinite way of the eighth order. However, he has not even absorbed the ninth order kendo in the memory of Wukong old man. So it is naturally impossible to absorb that part of the understanding of the infinite way. If Bibo Tianfu is not stationed in the small world inside the body of the saint of Tianshui temple, Duan Lingtian raised his brows. Doesn't that mean, Bibo Tianfu, there is a second saint? Ku Yi took over and said, "Second saint." Duan Lingtian couldn't help but tremble in his heart. End of this chapter. Chapter 4532. Bibo Tianfu. What does it mean if there is a second saint? It means that even in the power of saints, Bibo Tianfu is an extremely powerful existence. Duan Lingtian was surprised by Ku Yi's guess, but he couldn't help but become active, thinking about how to find an opportunity to meet one of the saints in Bibo Tianfu and ask them to help his wife get rid of the imprisoned soul. Duan Lingtian followed Ku Yi and quickly went through the formalities for entering the palace and became a member of the Golden Dragon Palace in Bibo Tianfu, a temple guard disciple, and in the Golden Dragon Hall. He is a disciple of the temple guard who is not the strongest. If he became a disciple of the temple guardian before he became the invincible superior god, he would definitely cause gossip, because among the 16 temples of Bibo Tianfu, the top 3 temples, it has always been the practice, are those who are not invincible high-ranking gods and the most powerful people above the 3rd rank and cannot become temple guardian disciples. Little junior brother, this is the void sword that you wanted to meet earlier. Not long after arriving at the Golden Dragon Hall, Ku Yi just helped Duan Lingtian arrange a place to live, that is, the place to practice, when a figure came uninvited, Ku Yi at the door. You can let the other party in after getting Duan Lingtian's permission. Senior brother Lingtian, this is my younger brother and the 5th disciple of the master's disciple, Huang Fuping. After completing the formalities with Duan Lingtian, Duan Lingtian became a disciple of Bibo Tianfu and a disciple of the guardian of the Golden Dragon Palace, and Ku Yi's address to him also changed from brother Lingtian to senior brother Lingtian. But he was a handsome young man with a bit of arrogance between his brows. He entered the door and looked up and down Duan Lingtian. You are Duan Lingtian. The law that the master said is not yet complete, but has the strength of the invincible superior god. I want to see your methods, but I don't know. Would it be convenient for you to discuss with me? I have never seen a person who has not comprehended the law to the realm of great perfection and has become an invincible superior god. Huang Fuping's eyes shone brightly. as if seeing the heart of a hunter. Little junior brother. On the other hand, K'e frowned and scolded. Don't be rude! Senior brother Ling Tian, don't pay attention to him. K'e said in a row, and at the same time did not forget to give Huang Fuping a fierce look. It's okay. Facing Huang Fuping, who was staring at him with scrutiny, Duan Ling Tian smiled slyly. It is not difficult for him to guess the other party's mind, and most likely he feels that he cannot understand the invincible upper gods who have not comprehended the law to the realm of great perfection. After all, the invincible superior gods in the world are basically the invincible superior gods who rely on the laws of the great perfection realm. Wanting to rely on other means to become an invincible high-ranking is difficult and difficult. Say nothing else. It is said that touching the threshold of the seventh order heaven and earth and the four realms, even if it is a saint, few people can achieve this step. Where are we chatting? Duan Lingtian looked at Huang Fuping and asked bluntly, What? Duan Lingshan's directness was straightforward, but Huang Fuping was stunned. He didn't expect Duan Lingtian to be so refreshing. No need to set a date? Huang Fuping asked subconsciously. Duan Lingtian laughed dumbly. It's just a discussion. You don't need to be so troublesome. Now, I can discuss with you. You can just find a place. Huang Fuping heard the words, came back to his senses, and gave Duan Lingtian a deep look. It seems that you are very confident in your own strength. In that case, let's go to the dual space of our Golden Dragon Palace. Huang Fuping said, Dual space? Hearing Huang Fuping's words, Duan Lingtian was stunned for a moment. At this time, K'e explained to him, Senior brother Lingtian, the dual space is actually the small world inside the body of the Hall Master of our Golden Dragon Halls, Yanwu Hall. The more powerful disciples in the Golden Dragon Palace compete and duel, all in the small world inside his body. In this way, you can also avoid damaging anything in the duel. After being reminded like this, Duan Lingtian suddenly realized, so it is. Let's go. Huang Fuping was also delighted to see the hunter, and wanted to see the special features of this genius who even his master praised. Duan Lingtian smiled and followed, Senior brother Ling Tian. At this time, K'e's voice transmission came from Duan Lingshan's ear. My little junior brother, I'm used to being proud, but a great god like you suddenly came to the Golden Dragon Palace, so I was a little unconvinced. You don't have to keep your hands later. Teach him a good lesson, so that he knows that there are days outside the sky, and there are people outside people. In the Bibo, Tianfu, the 16 temples, and in a certain city government, they are all independent entities. In each temple, there are martial arts hall, law enforcement hall, internal affairs hall, etc. Duan Lingtian followed Huang Fuping all the way to the Yanwu Hall. When they arrived at the gate of Yanwu Hall, a lot of people had gathered, and they were looking forward to the direction they came from. You still called so many people. K'e frowned, looked at Huang Fuping and said, Aren't you afraid of being too embarrassed to wait? Hey. Huang Fuping smiled. Fourth senior brother, you know that I always like to be lively. The people who come here are all our disciples from the Golden Dragon Palace. It's nothing to be ashamed of if you lose. You can find your way back later. I'm afraid you won't be able to find a place in the future. K'e was angry. He heard from his master that Duan Lingtian was not even half of his younger brother's age. What is this concept? Fourth senior brother, are you so disrespectful of me? The smile on Huang Fuping's face converged, and he frowned. Forget it. I'll tell you after you've been abused by senior brother Lingtian. He shook his head. He didn't plan to tell him this now. Duan Lingtian, please. Huang Fuping greeted Duan Lingtian, and then entered the Yanwu Hall first. Before going in, he did not forget to introduce to a group of disciples of the Golden Dragon Hall outside. This one, the object of my discussion today, is the powerhouse who was given the title of Void Sword by my master, the disciple of the Temple Guard, Duan Lingtian. It is said that he is an invincible upper who has not yet entered the realm of great perfection. Kendo, I have reached the threshold of the 7th floor. As soon as these words came out, a group of disciples of the Golden Dragon Palace were immediately stunned. The law did not step into the great perfection. Is it the invincible upper god? In the history of their Bibo Tianfu, does it seem that there has never been such an existence? The law has not entered the great perfection. Can it really have the strength of the invincible upper god? Many people have raised such doubts. Is there such strength? After watching him and junior brother Huang Fuping, we will know. If it is not for the invincible superior god, it would be difficult to defeat junior brother Huang Fuping within 100 strokes. Yeah. Even senior brother Kui, who is the strongest under the former supreme powerhouse in our Golden Dragon Palace, would not be able to defeat senior brother Huang Fuping within 100 strokes. Chapter 45-33. The head of the Yenwu Hall was an old man with a childlike appearance in a dress that resembled a Taoist robe. After Huang Fuping arrived and explained his purpose, he couldn't help frowning and persuaded. Boy Ping, I advise you not to try to compete with that void sword. You are not his opponent. Not long ago, the hall master of their Golden Dragon Hall had already sent a message to all the hall masters, including him, about the new disciple Duan Lingtian of their Golden Dragon Hall. They also realized Duan Lingtian's extraordinariness. This temple guardian disciple who was given the title of Void Sword by their temple master is an invincible, superior god. Master you, it's just a discussion. I'm just curious, how strong is the genius younger than me in the mouth of master? Huang Fuping said, and hearing Huang Fuping's words, Yuxinia, the head of the Yenwu Hall of the Golden Dragon Palace, finally knew why this little disciple of the head of the palace wanted to discuss with Duan Lingtian. After all, he didn't want to believe that such a genius monster existed. At the same time, Kui also came in with Duan Lingtian. Kui, however, didn't know that his master had also informed his younger junior brother Huang Fuping that Duan Lingtian was younger than him, and also asked Huang Fuping to learn from Duan Lingtian. How can Huang Fuping, who is usually arrogant, accept this? Seeing is believing. He still wanted to feel for himself whether the genius in his master's mouth was really as enchanting and unparalleled as his master said. Master you, this is the new disciple of our Golden Dragon Palace's guardian, the Void Sword Duan Lingtian. After Kui came in, he greeted Yuxinia with a smile. Then he said to Duan Lingtian, Senior brother Lingtian, this is the head of Yu Xinyu, the head of our Golden Dragon Hall's Yenwu Hall, and one of the 4th-tier Zeons in our Golden Dragon Hall. Zeon 4th Order. After hearing Kui's words, Duan Lingtian took a serious look at the old man in front of him. You must know that the 4th Order Zeon is also the 1st Order closest to the semi-holy. Stepping into the 5th step is a semi-holy. Duan Lingtian, I have seen Hall master you. Duan Lingtian greeted Yuxinia with a smile, which made Yuxinia a little surprised. He thought that all geniuses were as arrogant as Huang Fuping, but the one in front of him was obviously different. Perhaps this is the reason why he can achieve such achievements at this age. While Yuxinia secretly said he greeted Duan Lingtian with a smile, Brother Lingtian is very talented. The hall master is very optimistic about you. If you don't want to argue with him in this competition, you can refuse. As Yuxinia said that, he glanced at Huang Fuping, who was on the side. However, before Duan Lingtian could speak, Huang Fuping glared at him and said, Senior Yu, he has already agreed. What are you still doing here? Yuxinia glanced at Huang Fuping speechlessly. He just wanted to help Huang Fuping. But now, Huang Fuping is obviously not appreciative. He didn't say any more. Palace Master Yu, it is said that we will enter your inner body to learn from the small world. Then I will trouble you. Duan Lingtian didn't say much nonsense, and said to Yuxinia with a smile, He is very clear. For a person like Huang Fuping, there is no way to convince him with words. only fists can convince him. No trouble, just a small matter. Then Yuxinia had a thought, and two invisible forces swept towards Duan Lingtian and Huang Fuping. You too, don't deal with resistance. I will now put you into the dual space specially opened up in the small world of my body. Almost when Yuzini's voice fell, the figures of Duan Lingtian and Huang Fuping disappeared. At the same time, in the void in the Yanwu Hall, a mirror image appeared, and it was Duan Lingtian and Huang Fuping who appeared in a barren space. The space they were in was groggy, but there was still light enough to see their faces clearly. At their feet, there is a barren mountain range, endless as far as the eye can see, as if there is no end. Just in time. Brother Huang Fuping, fight against our newly promoted disciple of the Golden Dragon Palace, the Void Sword. I just received a summons. It was said that this scene was cast over our Golden Dragon Hall. It seems that it was the Yu Hall master of the Yanwu Hall who wanted to show this battle to the outside world. What? A mirror image of this scene appeared in the sky above our Golden Dragon Hall? Hall Master Yu, do you want this battle to attract the attention of people from all major temples? You must know that when someone enters the dual space to fight, they just put the mirror image into the Yanwu Hall for the disciples of this hall to watch. Few of them put mirror images outside, unless the duel is the strongest or invincible upper god venerable. I almost forgot. Our new disciple of the Temple Guardian is the invincible upper god venerable. I also forgot. According to the practice of our Bibo, Tianfu, if one of the dueling people is the strongest or the invincible superior god, the Yanwu Hall will tacitly display the mirror image to the outside world for the major temples to observe. In the Yanwu Hall, a group of disciples of the Golden Dragon Hall were discussing each other. Over the Golden Dragon Hall, the situation was turbulent, and the huge mirror image that suddenly appeared also shocked the quartet, attracting people from other temples to come and watch. Even the news continued to spread. Soon, more and more people gathered in the sky above the Golden Dragon Palace. Is there a superpower in the Golden Dragon Palace who wants to take action? Impossible. You didn't see that one of the people in the mirror image is the youngest disciple of the head of Xiao Hall, Huang Fuping. Could it be that Huang Fuping's current opponent, this unfamiliar face, is that Duan Lingtian? Duan Lingtian. Yes. I heard from my master that the master of the Golden Dragon Palace has just accepted a disciple of the palace guard for the Golden Dragon Palace and given the name Void. Step threshold. The law realizes the invincible, superior, God venerable in the realm of small perfection. Damn it. Is it true? Kendo touches the seventh order threshold. Even the sage powerhouse of our Bibo Tianfu seems to have not touched the seventh order threshold, right? As more and more people gathered, the news spread further. Soon, many figures appeared in the void around the Golden Dragon Hall. Some of the famous people from the major temples. That's Senior Sister Ji Qirshui from Tinshui Temple. Unexpectedly, she's here too. Senior Sister Ji Kushui's strength is not weaker than that of Senior Brother Ku Yi from our Golden Dragon Hall. I didn't expect that she would come. I remember that what she is good at seems to be not the way of the sword, but the way of the sword, right? There are many similarities between swords, and it is not impossible to find the inspiration of swordsmanship from swordsmanship. At the same time, a group of Golden Dragon Hall disciples in the Golden Dragon Hall successively recognized many more famous disciples from the major temples of Bibo, Tianfu. It's Senior Brother Xuelang. He actually came too. Senior Brother Xuelang, the invincible superior of Bibo Hall. Chapter 45-34. There are two invincible upper gods in Bibo Tianfu. One of them was the Xuelang of Bibo Hall. Xuelang, like the Ji Qiushui of Tianshui Temple, is a good swordsman. The accomplishments of the two in the Tao of the Blade are similar. However, because Xuelang comprehended the profound meaning of the laws of the Great Perfection realm and stepped into the realm of the invincible superior God Venerable. His strength is much stronger than Ji Qiushui. However, if Ji Qiushui is good at the profound meaning of the law and can enter the realm of great perfection, it is really hard to say who is stronger and who is weaker. Junior sister Qiushui, you are here too. After Xuelang arrived, he found Ji Qiushui and approached him for a while, greeting him with a smile. Both of them use knives, and they usually have the opportunity to discuss the Tao of the blade together, but they are fairly familiar. Senior brother Xuelang. When Ji Qiushui saw Xuelang, he also smiled and said, "Hello. I heard from them that the invincible high-ranking gods recruited by the Golden Dragon Palace this time are going to take action, so I will join in the fun." Brother Xuelang is also here for him, right? Facing Ji Qiushui's question, Xuelang nodded with a smile. I'm also curious how this disciple of the Golden Dragon Hall's new guardian, relying on the profound meaning of the law of the realm of small perfection, has the strength comparable to the invincible superior God. In the land outside the realm, and even in the contemporary world, I have never heard of anyone who can possess the strength of an invincible superior while only mastering the profound meaning of the laws of the realm of small perfection. There is such a saying, but many people say that this is just a conjecture. Hearing Xuelang's words, Ji Qiushui said with a smile, "Does he have the strength of an invincible high-ranking god? Just take a look and you'll know." Xuelang nodded. At the same time, Duan Lingtian, who was standing against Huang Fuping in the dual space in the small world inside the body of the head of the Yanwu Hall, Yuxinia, in the Golden Dragon Hall, looked extremely calm. "Duan Lingtian, since it is said that you are the invincible high-ranking god, I will take the shot first. You shouldn't mind, right?" Huang Fuping asked. "Random." Duan Lingtian smiled. Not to mention that Huang Fuping is not an invincible high-ranking god. Even if he is not afraid. It is good. At the same time Huang Fu answered, a spear suddenly appeared in his hand. The spear was about 8 feet long and exuded an intimidating aura. Obviously, it was also a supreme artifact. Whoosh! Huang Fu moved. His body was astonished. He shot out his spear. The spear shot out like a dragon, and the dazzling golden light turned into a long dragon in the blink of an eye, roaring out towards Duan Lingtian. Seeing this, Duan Lingtian did not panic. He didn't even plan to take out the 7 apertures exquisite sword. He stood there, his expression unchanged. At this moment, the divine power in his body was turbulent. One after another, the divine power of the space law was integrated, and he broke out of the body and at the same time whistled into the void as if he had disappeared. When Huang Fu Ping came over, Duan Lingtian disappeared in place, appeared above Huang Fu Ping's head. At the same time, under the watchful eyes of all, in the mirror image that caught his eye, there were all swords, and the overwhelming sword light roared down, making Huang Fu Ping seem to be trapped in a sea of swords. No matter how he broke free, it would be useless. In the end, submerged by the sea of swords, disappear. However, at a critical moment, the head of Yanwu Hall, Yuxinia, sent Huang Fuping out of the small world inside his body. Although he knew that Duan Lingtian would definitely keep his hands at the critical moment. But even so, Huang Fuping was still injured. Too fast. So fast. Extremely strong. Huang Fuping, in front of him, there is no way to fight back. Golden Dragon Hall, disciples from the major temples of Bibo Tianfu, exclaimed in surprise, looking at the purple figure in the mirrored image that looked like a god. In addition to shock, there was shock in his eyes. His strength is no weaker than mine. Xuelang's face became solemn. Sure enough, he has the strength of an invincible superior god. Moreover, his space law has indeed not yet stepped into the realm of great perfection. As for Ji Qiushui, his face was full of horror. Huang Fuping's strength, although not as good as hers, is not much worse. She wanted even Huang Fu Ping to be at least 30 strokes away, and the young man in purple in the mirror image, the new disciple of the guardian of the Golden Dragon Palace, the void sword Duan Lingtian, used only one move to defeat Huang Fuping. Terrible. When the outside world is shocked, there was also a dead silence in the Golden Dragon Hall's martial arts hall. A group of Golden Dragon Hall disciples present were a little stunned. They didn't expect that Huang Fuping, an existence that was almost invincible in their eyes, would be defeated by one move. Even Huang Fuping, after being sent out, still looked sluggish and his eyes were full of disbelief. Even Ku Yi was a little shocked at this time. Although he knew that Duan Lingtian was strong, he didn't expect it to be so strong. It's definitely stronger than the average, invincible, high-ranking god venerable, Ku Yi secretly said. At the same time, Duan Lingtian, who was in the small world of Yu Xinya, the main body of Yanwu Hall, suddenly closed his eyes and frowned, but he seemed to be feeling something. It was also seeing this scene that Yu Xinya was not in a hurry to send Duan Lingtian out. He could see. This Duan Lingtian should have realized something. Suddenly, around Duan Lingshan's body, the sea of swords reappeared and then disappeared into the void, appears again, disappears again, appears again, disappears again. After going back and forth dozens of times, Duan Lingtian opened his eyes, and his eyes seemed to be sharper. I really didn't expect that fighting with people would actually speed up my absorption of the memories of the Wukong old man. I feel that the space law is just one step away from entering the realm of great perfection. Once the laws of space step into the realm of great perfection, the swordsmanship will officially step into the seventh order. Thinking of this, Duan Lingshan's heart couldn't help but agitate. Yu Hall Master. At the same time, Duan Lingtian greeted Yu Xinya, the master of Yanwu Hall. Before Yu Xinya returned to his senses, Duan Lingtian had already said, "I want to challenge the two invincible superior gods in Bibo Hall and Tianshui Hall. But I don't know. How do I need to go through the procedure?" In a word, it attracted everyone's attention. Because Yu Xinya had not removed the mirror image of the outside world, Duan Lingshan's words were also heard by the onlookers. For a while, all eyes fell on Xuelang. Hearing this, Xuelang also showed a fierce fighting intent in his eyes. At the same time, before Yu Xinya replied to Duan Lingtian, he was the first to speak loudly, and the voice spread all over the Golden Dragon Hall in an instant. "Duan Lingtian, I am the invincible superior of Bibo Hall, Xuelang. If you want to challenge me, you can do it now. I'm just outside the Golden Dragon Palace." Xuelang challenged directly. For a time, the eyes of the surrounding audience lit up one after another. The battle of the invincible superior gods. Just now, Duan Lingshan's strength has made them thoroughly confirm that he is indeed an invincible upper god. Chapter 45-35. Xuelang challenged. Immediately, the crowd of onlookers outside the Golden Dragon Hall were in an uproar, and soon, Duan Lingtian also left the inner world of Yu Xinya, the main body of the Golden Dragon Hall, and Yukong flew out of the Golden Dragon Hall and confronted Xuelang. "Duan Lingtian, you just shot. It shouldn't cost anything, right?" Xuelang looked at Duan Lingtian, and the fighting spirit also rose in his eyes. He is one of the two invincible high-ranking gods in Bibo Tianfu. His strength is strong. Looking at the Bibo Tianfu, under the supreme power, only the invincible high-ranking of the Tianshui Temple can shake his wrist. And now, the Golden Dragon Hall of Bibo Tianfu has accepted Duan Lingtian, a temple guardian disciple whose strength is comparable to that of an invincible superior god. He couldn't help but see the joy of hunting. No consumption. Duan Lingtian looked at Xuelang, and Dandan said, "Xuelang, you should know the invincible high-ranking in Tianshui Temple, right?" Xuelang nodded, then asked, "You want to learn from him too?" "After you and I have finished discussing, if you want to ask him to discuss, I will arrange it for you. If you think about it, he will not refuse the opportunity to learn from you." Xuelang said, "I want to talk to him." Duan Lingtian nodded. Then his eyes narrowed suddenly, and he said slowly, "To be precise, I want to learn from the two of you." 1 against 2. 1 against 2. As Duan Lingtian said these words, although the audience gathered more and more, but now they fell into a brief silence. Even Xuelang was stunned. 1 against 2? At this moment, Xuelang even thought that he had heard it wrong. This paragraph of Ling Tian said to use 1 against 2 and learn from Brother Xuelang and Brother Han Chen? Is he crazy? With his own strength, challenge the two invincible superior gods to join forces? I haven't heard of the existence outside the world, and even the 10,000 worlds, which exists under the strongest, with such courage. From my point of view, he is just grandstanding. Now, many people have walked out of the Golden Dragon Hall. The head of the Yanwu Hall, Yu Xinya, was on the list. Also, Huang Fuping, who was easily defeated by Duan Lingtian just now, and Kui, who brought Duan Lingtian to Bibo Tianfu, both came out. Huang Fuping, although he has recognized Duan Lingxin's strength. However, when Duan Lingtian said that he was going to challenge Xuelang and the invincible superior Han Chen of Tianshui Temple with one enemy, he was still frightened. Transhen said to Kui, "Senior brother, is this Ling Tian crazy? Do you really think you can beat me easily so you can challenge Xuelang and Han Chen with 1 against 2 at the same time?" Now, when Kui heard what his junior brother said, it was rare that he didn't refute. He frowned, feeling that something was wrong. Duan Lingtian. Xuelang finally came back to his senses and looked at Duan Lingtian again, but also became particularly unkind. "If you want to challenge me and Han Chen to join forces, it's not impossible. Before that, though, it's best to show your strength. Defeat me one-on-one first." From Xuelang's unkind tone, he could tell that he was really angry. Can you not be angry? The dignified and invincible superior god Venerable, the ceiling-like figure under the Bibo Tianfu Supreme Powerhouse, was actually looked down upon by a guy who had just entered Bibo Tianfu and had not yet become the Supreme Powerhouse. Can Duan Lingtian nodded. He could also see that Xuelang was unwilling to see the Yellow River, and it seemed that only by defeating him first would he be willing to join forces with another invincible superior in Bibo Tianfu to learn from him. And the reason why he wanted to play against Xuelang and that Han Chen was because he wanted to further digest the memory Wukong left him by discussing with them. Once the memory is further digested, his space law will go straight to the realm of great perfection. In addition, Kendo will go one step further and officially enter the 7th Order. Duan Lingtian and Xuelang decided on the post-war, decided to go to Bibo Hall to fight. In the Bibo Hall, there is a space plane specially used for sparring and competition. It is not a small world in the body of any one person. Duan Lingtian will fight Xuelang here, and followed Duan Lingtian and Xuelang to Bibo Hall. Behind also followed a group of tails. Even that day, the most powerful Ji Qiushui under the invincible superior god Venerable in the Water Palace left the Golden Dragon Palace and returned to the Tianshui Palace to find her senior brother. Han Qin is her senior brother. Senior brother, that Duan Lingtian is too arrogant. He even said that he would fight against you and Xuelang with one enemy. Ji Qiushui said angrily to the young man in front of him, a young man wearing a sky-blue robe with a cold face, short hair, and big eyes. At this time, after hearing Ji Qiushui's words, the corner of his mouth could not help but contempt. So arrogant? "I'll go to Bibo Hall with you to see." Where did he have the confidence to let out such wild words? As a person who is as famous as Xuelang in Bibo Tianfu, his strength is not weaker than Xuelang's existence, and Han Chen also has his own pride. And now his pride was obviously trampled underfoot. If Duan Lingtian was discussing with Huang Fuping in the Golden Dragon Hall, but it was only a small-scale onlooker. So now the battle between him and Xuelang has shaken the entire Bibo Tianfu. As long as Bibo Tianfu is in the station and has nothing in hand, they're basically rushing towards the Bibo Palace. The one who wants to discuss with Xuelang is the disciple of the guardian of the Golden Dragon Palace, who has just been admitted to the Golden Dragon Palace. Yes, it seems to be called Duan Lingtian. He is a monster who has reached the 7th order threshold of swordsmanship. Before the law of space is perfect, he has the strength comparable to the invincible, superior god. It's really not easy to be given a name by the Hall Master Shao of the Golden Dragon Palace. It's really not easy, but it's also arrogant. I heard that he also threatened to challenge Xuelang and Han Qin with 1 against 2 at the same time. So crazy! Xuelang told him that if he wants to fight 1 against 2, he will be defeated first. Xuelang is an invincible, high-ranking god. Under the supreme power, there is basically no one who can defeat him. That Duan Lingtian is destined to be unable to realize his dream. The Bibo Hall is located. The vast square was full of people. The surrounding void was also filled with a mighty crowd. In front of the audience, in the void above the square, a mirror image appeared in front of everyone. The 2 figures stood facing each other. It was Duan Lingtian and Xuelang. Senior brother Han Qin is here. On the same day, the invincible superior god Venerable Han Qin, a disciple of the Water Temple, arrived and immediately attracted the attention of many people. After Han Qin and Ji Qiushui came together, they also joined the crowd. Chapter 45-36. As an invincible high-ranking god, Han Qin is also an absolute celebrity in Bibo Tianfu. His arrival attracted the attention of a group of people. Senior brother Han Qin, the guardian disciple of the Golden Dragon Hall, with the void sword Duan Lingtian, actually threatened to fight you and senior brother Xuelang with 1 enemy and 2. He is simply arrogant and arrogant. Senior brother Han Qin, are you also here to see how Duan Lingtian was slapped in the face? Senior brother Han Qin, after the battle between Duan Lingtian and Xuelang, will you ask Duan Lingtian to play against each other? As soon as Han Qin arrived, many people greeted him. Since Duan Lingtian said that it shows that he is quite confident in his own strength, let's wait and see. Han Qin Dandan smiled. Now your focus should be on Xuelang and Duan Lingtian, not me. The voice fell, and Han Qin's eyes fell on the mirror image in front of him. At this moment, the 2 people in the mirror image also moved. Although Han Qin spoke modestly, but deep in his eyes, there was still a bit of disdain. Disdain for Duan Lingtian. In his opinion, as an invincible superior god, under the supreme power, no one dares to say that he can beat him. If he joins forces with Xuelang, no one under the power will dare to say that they can be tied with them by 1 enemy and 2, let alone defeat them. Senior brother Han Qin, how long do you think brother Xuelang will be able to prevail? Someone next to him asked Han Qin. Han Qindan said, it's hard to say. After all, I haven't seen it before. Without comprehending the law to the realm of great perfection, there is a superior who is invincible. Kendo touches the 7th order threshold. I also want to see what means he can use. As Han Qin's voice just fell, the 2 people in the mirror image have completed the first round of tentative confrontation, and they seem to be evenly matched, as if no one is stronger than the other and no one is weaker than the other. Seeing this scene, Han Qin's face became slightly solemn. This Ling Tian's strength was somewhat beyond his expectations. However, what surprised him even more was what Duan Lingtian said next. You have the strength? Duan Lingtian looked at Xuelang with disappointment in his eyes. The strength of this Xuelang is similar to that of the invincible, superior god Venerable Yao Tianqin that he had previously played against in the place where the old man with no space left to return to the ruins. At the beginning, before he got the memory of the Wukong old man, his strength was no weaker than that of Yao Tianqin. Later, after obtaining the memory of the Wukong old man, his strength improved again. Insanity. Xuelang shouted angrily and shot again. The attack became more and more fierce. As for Duan Lingtian, he didn't hold back at this time. After integrating the memories of the old man Mukong, his improved strength was fully revealed. Stop! 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 In the blink of an eye, a storm of sword light blew up around Duan Lingshan's body, and countless sword lights appeared in the vast void, shrouding Duan Lingtian and Xue Lang together. Xue Lang's offensive, although continuous, was completely crushed. During the whole process, Duan Lingshan's expression was calm, and he looked extremely relaxed. You are too weak. When a group of people outside looked dumbfounded, Duan Lingtian sighed softly. In an instant, the countless sword lights around him, nearly half of the sword lights close to him, all merged together, turned into a giant sword, and swept toward Xue Lang. Boom! In front of this giant sword, Xue Lang's offensive was vulnerable to a single blow, and in an instant his entire body was also blown away, blood spurting wildly from his mouth. This scene caused an uproar from the onlookers outside. God, what's the situation? How can that be? Senior Brother Xue Lang, he is an invincible, high-ranking god, the strongest existence under the so-called supreme power. Could it be that this Lingtian is already a supreme power? Duan Lingtian is not a superpower. His divine power is only the power of a superior god. This is the strength of Kendo to touch the seventh order threshold. Moreover, looking at his space law, it seems that he is not far from the realm of great perfection. This Lingtian is too terrifying. No wonder it was given a name by the Hall Master Shao of the Golden Dragon Palace. The Void Sword is endless. The condensed sword breaks the falsehood. He deserves the title of Void Sword. Outside, a group of Bibo Tianfu disciples were shocked by Duan Lingshan's strength, although this is a new disciple who has just entered the Bibo Tianfu. However, in this world where the strong are respected, this concept will not change because the other party is a newcomer. How could he be so strong? Han Chen was also watching, and his face was not very good-looking at this time. He stared at the purple figure in the mirror image, and his eyes were not only afraid, but also afraid. Too strong. Even he is not sure to deal with each other. This. Huang Fuping was stunned. Although Duan Lingtian defeated him, he did not think that Duan Lingtian had the strength to defeat Xue Lang. Now, seeing Xue Lang so miserable, he suddenly realized how blind and arrogant he was before. Ku Yi, who was standing beside Huang Fuping, was also shocked by this incident. He originally thought that Duan Lingshan's strength, even if he was stronger than Xue Lang, would not be much stronger. It would not be so easy to defeat Ku Yi, after all. Ku Yi was an invincible, high-ranking god. But now, the scene in front of him has completely subverted his past cognition of the invincible upper goddess. I kept my hand. You were only slightly injured. At this time, in the mirror image, Duan Lingtian spoke again. It shouldn't affect you to have another competition. Go and call Han Chen. Today, I will try 1 against 2, and try the 2 invincible upper gods of Bibo Tianfu. How many caddies and 2 tails are there? Duan Lingshan's words can be said to be very arrogant. If he had crushed and defeated Xue Lang, there would have been a lot of scolding. But now, no one thinks he is arrogant. Even the onlookers outside looked at Han Chen subconsciously. Han Chen also came to watch the battle. Now, Duan Lingtian once again challenged Han Chen and Xue Lang to join forces. How will Han Chen choose? Senior Brother Han Chen, will you agree? I think there is a high probability. If you fight alone, Senior Brother Xue Lang is not Duan Lingshan's opponent, and Senior Brother Han Chen, who is comparable in strength to Senior Brother Xue Lang, is naturally the same. Now, there is an opportunity to join forces to deal with Duan Lingtian. He should not miss it. Under the eyes of everyone, Han Chen finally came out of the sky and entered the Bibo Hall directly. Senior Brother Han Chen, is this going to go in? 2 against 1. That's interesting. Although senior brother Xuelang was defeated by Duan Lingtian, if he can join hands with senior brother Han Qin, he should still be able to win a match. Two invincible superior gods join forces to deal with a non-superior. If it was before, I would never have dreamed of such a scene. After seeing Han Qin entering the Bibo Hall, there was another sensation outside. In the excited eyes, there's a strong look of anticipation. Chapter 45-37. Han Qin, Xuelang, the two invincible superior gods of Bibo Tianfu. In Bibo Tianfu, they are the strongest beings below the strongest. And today, Xuelang was defeated by a non-superior who had just joined Bibo Tianfu. And it's easy to beat. The other party invited Han Qin and Xuelang to fight together. Now Han Qin also entered. Mirror image. Han Qin and Xuelang stood side by side. Standing opposite, it was Duan Lingtian. Why do I think Duan Lingtian might still win? It shouldn't be, although senior brother Xuelang seems to be easily defeated by him. Since he is not the strongest, there should be a limit to how strong he is. I also think that senior brother Han Qin and senior brother Xuelang are teaming up, and he may not be an opponent. The onlookers outside were mainly a group of Bibo Tianfu disciples at first. Gradually, the high-level officials of Bibo Tianfu also arrived quietly. Among them, it also includes the master of Bibo Tianfu, Lord Palace Master. The appearance of Palace Master Bibo Tianfu immediately shocked many high-level officials. However, while they were saying hello, Palace Master Bibo Tianfu made another gesture, telling them not to disturb the others. Watch this battle carefully. Han Qin and Xuelang may be defeated. Hearing the words of their palace master, the high-level officials of Bibo Tianfu all gasped. I also watched the battle just now. Tandan, the head of Bibo Tianfu, said, Xuelang's strength is not far from him, but it is not close. Otherwise, he would not be able to defeat Xuelang so easily. In addition, he insisted on asking Han Qin and Xuelang to fight one another, and to fight him, he should also want to use their hands to hone himself. His fight with Xuelang was short-lived. However, it is not difficult to see that his spatial laws have improved again. It's not far from the realm of great perfection. As the palace master of Bibo Tianfu, although he is not a saint of the 6th rank of the strongest, he is also a semi-sage of the 5th rank. With his unique vision, it is not difficult to see this. Good. A stern voice came, and then a figure appeared. It was none other than the master of the Golden Dragon Palace, Shao Tianci. Hall Master Shao! Hall Master Shao! As soon as Shao Tianci appeared, a group of people took the initiative to salute him, showing awe. Although this Hall Master Shao is younger than their senior officials of Bibo Tianfu, his strength is stronger than them, not even weaker than their Bibo Tianfu Palace Master. Junior brother Tianci, you came back early? Palace Master Bibo Tianfu was surprised, then frowned slightly. How's the investigation going? Why did those disciples die? It's a forced collision in the land of returning markets. It is suspected that the power of the masters of returning markets is the power. Shao Tianci sighed and said, As for the reason, no one knows. This time we can be considered as stealing chickens without losing rice. The strong man who left the land of return to the ruins is simply looking for someone to bury him. There was a bit of anger in the eyes of Bibo Tianfu Palace Master's words. This kind of thing can only be considered unlucky. Shao Tianci sighed. Otherwise how? Not to mention the powerhouses who left the land of ruins. They were all superpowers before the historical partition. They wanted to find each other, but there was nothing they could do because the other side had already perished. Even if you take 10,000 steps back and say that the other party is not dead, if you find him, can you still settle accounts with him? Are you his opponent? Okay, let's stop talking about this. Let's take a look at the performance of your guardian, disciple of the Golden Dragon Hall. Palace Master Bibbo Tianfus' gaze returned to the mirror image in front of him. This time, you, the Golden Dragon Palace, have found a treasure. Xiao Tianxi heard the words, although his mouth was modest, but the proudness raised at the corners of his mouth could not be concealed. On the other side, the senior officials of Bibbo Tianfu had already begun to congratulate Xiao Tianxi. Duan Lingtian faced Han Qin, and Xuelang with a calm expression, and Gu Jing had no waves. With a move in my heart, I secretly said, it shouldn't be a problem to beat them. However, my purpose is not as simple as defeating them. I have to rely on them to spar with me. Let them be my whetstones, so that I can further digest the memories left by the Wukong old man, and make my strength further. Because of these thoughts, therefore, after Han Chen and Xuelang took the lead, he just dealt with them as much as possible, and did not directly explode all his strength to seize the upper hand. From an outsider's point of view, Duan Lingtian was faintly at a disadvantage in this instant confrontation. Is Duan Lingtian about to lose? As expected of the two invincible upper gods of our Bibbo Tianfu, they are invincible when they join forces. Senior Brother Han Qin and Brother Xuelang are too strong. A group of Bibbo Tianfu disciples were extremely excited. Compared to Duan Lingxian's victory, they naturally hoped that Han Qin and Xuelang would win. He didn't use all his strength. As for the powerhouses of Bibbo Tianfu, all the existences above the 4th rank of Xian, it is not difficult to see that Duan Lingtian is not doing his best. He didn't even have the strength to easily defeat Xuelang before. Duan Lingtian, use all your strength. Xuelang snorted coldly. At this time he felt humiliated. He joined forces with Han Qin, but he didn't win this Lingtian for a long time. Unlike Xuelang, who had felt Duan Lingxian's true strength, it was certain that Duan Lingtian had left his hand now. When Han Qin heard Xuelang's words, his expression changed slightly. He did not doubt Xuelang's words. He still keeps his hand. For a while, Han Qin became more serious, and Duan Lingtian didn't know if he heard Xuelang's words, and his true strength gradually showed. In this process, whether it was Xuelang or Han Qin, they did everything they could, and even in the end, even the power of blood was motivated by them and showed it. Two violent forces continued to impact Duan Lingtian, and Duan Lingtian, in the duel with the two, kept quickly digesting the memories of the Wukong old man. So it is. It's very simple. Why didn't you find it before? Here, that's how it is. This place is not as complicated as I imagined. Duan Lingtian, in the confrontation with the two, felt the pressure that the two brought him, and absorbed and digested the memories and insights that the old man Wukong left him under the pressure. During the battle, his perception was improving every moment. When his perception has risen to a critical point, and he is about to rush past like a wreck, he forced himself to stop. Can't break through here. Once the breakthrough is made, not only the space law will step into the realm of great perfection, but also the swordsmanship will completely step into the 7th order. By then, even between the historical partitions, the terrifying catastrophe that few high-ranking gods can survive is coming. Thank you both. Duan Lingtian let out a soft drink, and the sword lights in the void all around his body suddenly gathered together, turned into a strong light, and then shone out. It is radiant and exudes extremely terrifying power. In one fell swoop, Han Qin and Xuelang, two invincible high-ranking gods, were sent flying. His current strength is not weaker than the existence of the First Order Xian. How is this possible? He is indeed only a high-ranking god. Without entering the powerhouse, has the strength comparable to the powerhouse? How did he do it? In the land outside the realm, and even in the history of all realms, I have never heard of such an alien. The layman watches the fun, the layman watches the doorway. Now, even the palace master of Bibo, Tianfu, and the palace master of the Golden Dragon Palace are all horrified. Obviously, they were all frightened by Duan Lingshan's last burst of power. Chapter 45:38. After Duan Lingtian went out, he found that Xiao Tianxi, the master of the Golden Dragon Palace, was also there, and he quickly greeted him. Under the leadership of Ku Yi, he arrived at the teleportation array in Bibo, Tianfu, to Wanjie, sent to the anti-god realm. He wants to go back to the god realm to break through. According to the memory of the empty old man, this breakthrough, it is best to return to the realm where he was born. The power of the realm, to a certain extent, can help you turn your calamity away. Although it's a drop in the bucket, it's better than nothing. Back to the anti-god realm again. The current Duan Lingtian, even the most powerful person who guards the teleportation formation in the anti-god realm, is quite polite to him when he sees him. The last time Duan Lingtian returned with a half-sage, he shocked the entire anti-god realm, causing all the superpowers in the anti-god realm who had originally wanted to fight the Shen Yunquan idea in Duan Lingshan's hands to die. Anti-god realm. Returning to the anti-god realm again, Duan Lingtian thought of the former semi-sacred powerhouse Duan Yuwei without any surprise. Sister Wei, as long as I succeed in this calamity, the day I step into Xi'an is the time for me to avenge you. In Duan Lingshan's eyes, an icy killing intent suddenly burst out, and the cold light flickered, as if it could penetrate the heavens and the world, cross the obstacles of space, and lock the person who killed Duan Yuwei in the past with the memory of the empty old man. Now he can attract the heaven and earth, the seventh order of the four realms, and the great perfection law in one calamity. As long as the calamity is successfully broken, he will become the first existence in the contemporary era of myriad realms to take this step. After taking this step, as long as he steps into the realm of Xi'an, he is directly the existence of the seventh order of Xi'an, enough to push the world horizontally and be invincible in the world. Of course, this is not the end for him. The memory of the empty old man, as long as he further becomes his own, steps into the ninth rank of Xi'an, and even reaches the level of parity with heaven. It is just around the corner. According to the memory of the empty old man, the famous fierce places in the anti-god realm and the three most dangerous fierce places are not exclusive to the anti-god realm, but are connected to the heavens and the world. Azura Hell is one of them. Duan Lingtian is no stranger to Azura Hell. In the past, his master was light-hearted. That is, after escaping into the Azura Hell, he returned with a shocking encounter and regained his position as the Emperor of Heaven. There, his master gained a lot. Even later, he went to that place with his master and successfully walked out of the Time Law Road, and now his Time Law attainments are not low. It's just not as good as the laws of space. Duan Lingtian returned to the god-defying realm. Xiao Mubai, the realm master of the anti-god realm, received the news immediately. However, after learning that Duan Lingtian came back alone, he didn't pay much attention. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian was originally a person from the god-defying realm. It was normal for him to travel back and forth to the god-defying realm. Therefore, even if Duan Lingtian entered the Azura Hell, he did not know. Azura Hell. Thinking that when he entered the Azura Hell there were many crises, but now all the way is unimpeded, Duan Lingtian had to feel that time passed so quickly. In a blink of an eye, he already had the strength he has now. According to the memory of the old man Mukong, even if it is a strong saint, that is, the existence of Jiazun, the existence of the sixth order Xi'an and the power of the soul, compared with the fifth order Xi'an, it is not much stronger. That is to say, even the strongest sage in the world can't get rid of Kir's imprisoned soul. With the existence of the seventh order Xi'an, the soul can be further sublimated. At this level, it is enough to easily let Kir escape the suffering of soul silence. because of this understanding. Therefore, Duan Lingtian is eager to take this critical step. Otherwise, with his character, he would not have provoked and challenged the two invincible superior gods of Bibo, Tianfu one after another on the day he entered Bibo, Tianfu. Before Duan Lingtian left, he quickly spread the word about defeating the two invincible high-ranking gods of Bibo Tianfu with less than the cultivation of the strongest. The news spread and the quartet shook. All forces know that the Golden Dragon Hall of Bibo Tianfu has reached the 7th order threshold of Kendo, and even the laws of space are about to be consummated, even in the upper 3 realms with the most lofty status among the myriad realms. Many strong people have received news. However, after receiving the news, they shook their heads in unison. I'm afraid it won't be long before another Tianjiao perishes. The 7th order of the 4 paths of heaven and earth, the space law of the great perfection realm, cannot coexist. If you step in together, you will be provoking the way of heaven and will be obliterated by the way of heaven. The will of heaven is the will of heaven. The will of heaven cannot be violated. In the upper 3 realms, for countless years, such existences, although rare, have not never appeared. However, those existences, without exception, all died under the catastrophe. It's as if the way of heaven is not easy for this heaven and earth to have such a heaven-defying existence. In particular, a group of realm powerhouses from the upper 3 realms. They are even more aware of this. Among them, there are also some people. In fact, the 4 worlds have also faintly touched the threshold of the 7th order, but they dare not step in, because they all know that once they step in, they will usher in death. Unless the 10,000-year catastrophe that appears becomes more and more unstoppable as the years go by, and you want to take advantage of it, you will generally not provoke the way of heaven. However, the powerhouses in the history of the upper 3 realms, without exception, all died and vanished. High-ranking gods, taking this step and facing the catastrophe, although far less terrifying than the catastrophe faced by the strongest who took this step, but for the superior gods, it is also a devastating blow. In the past, in our realm, it was not that there was no existence of the upper gods who took this step, but they still died and disappeared. Although the history before the historical partition and the current history are completely disconnected, almost everyone does not know the truth of the year. However, there are still some people who have discovered this problem and the records have been passed down. Therefore, no one thinks that Duan Lingtian can take the most critical step. They all felt that as long as he dared to take that step, he would surely die. If I were him, I wouldn't try to take that step. Once the 4 realms of heaven and earth step into the 7th order, the law will be perfect, and it will be forever. Yeah, he might as well separate the relationship between Kendo and space law, and only step into the great perfection of space law, and Kendo will not go any further. In this way, after stepping into the realm of the strongest, he will also be a myriad world, even outside the world, one of the strongest saints and powerhouses. In the current Duan Lingtian, space law and space swordsmanship are integrated, and it is obviously no longer a secret that they promote each other. After all, the high-level officials of Bibo Tianfu are not blind. Naturally, you can see this. In sure as hell, Duan Lingtian found a place near the edge of the anti-god realm and began to let go of his intentional suppression of Kendo and space laws. Let the swordsmanship and the laws of space go further together. The law of space, great perfection. Kendo, 7th order. There is no need to focus on any one point at all. Now that the restrictions are released, the two will step in together. And at this moment, Duan Lingtian only felt that his soul seemed to have been sublimated in an indescribable and extremely exaggerated way, making his perception seem to have been enhanced several times, or even 10 times at this moment. In an instant, on Duan Lingtian, divine power rose up on his own and turned into a huge sword light. Thousands of tiny sword lights shot out from the surroundings, sweeping across the 4 directions, causing everything in the four directions to be destroyed. In the blink of an eye, a large vacuum zone appeared around Duan Lingshan's body. That's right, it's a vacuum. This is not Duan Lingshan's intention to shoot. This power. Duan Lingtian began to try to control this force that seemed to be able to destroy the world. And in this very moment, boom, boom, suddenly there was a roar that seemed to be able to pierce the sky, but it was the calamity that wanted to kill Duan Lingtian and other abnormal numbers. My power I want to control, are you still reluctant? Tian Dao, is it so domineering? Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed with chills, and with a cold smile, he continued to control the power of qualitative change in his body, ignoring the threat of heavenly Dao at all. And with Duan Lingtian doing this, the movement on the horizon is even bigger. It seems to carry the power of the world-destroying power, swept in from outside the God-defying realm. Humph! And Duan Lingtian, who had been prepared for a long time, suddenly stared at his eyes, and all the strength that was ready to go swept out. The whole person stands in the void. In his hands, the raging power condensed and finally turned into a sword that exudes a breathtaking breath. Chapter 4539. Bring it on, Dash. The current Duan Lingtian seems to have transformed into an incomparable sword god. Raising his hand is a sword. Raising his foot is a sword. His eyes are also a sword. And the whole body is full of swords. He seemed to be in a sea of swords. Hundreds of millions of sword lights. All obeyed the orders of the of swords. This is the 7th rank of Kendo. This is the space law of the great perfection realm. The void filled with sword beams, with Duan Lingshan's thought. The space is under his control, constantly vibrating, folding, and collapsing, as if doing whatever he wants. There are memories of the empty old man. Duan Lingtian felt both unfamiliar and familiar with this brand new power. It seems to have been easy to control. The current him, whether in state or strength, is not weaker than the old Wukong, old man of the year, facing the certain death catastrophe in front of him. Even he still has the experience of the empty old man facing this kind of catastrophe. You may be able to kill almost all the high-ranking gods who have taken this step, but it's impossible to kill me. Duan Lingtian raised his head and looked at the power of thunder that swept down from another area of Azura hell outside the god realm. His eyes were extremely silent. Boom! Boom! There were thunderous sounds, as if there was a heaven-defying existence, roaring filial piety there, rebuking Duan Lingshan's behavior. Duan Lingtian knew that this was the filial piety of heaven. Heaven, do not allow this era to appear again that may threaten his existence. Duan Lingtian takes the current step, and if he moves forward, it will become a matter of course. When it comes to the end, it is not impossible to become another empty old man, or even surpass the existence of the empty old man. At that time, it will be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Tao of Heaven, and even surpass the Tao of Heaven. Heavenly Tao, how could it allow such an existence to grow up smoothly? The catastrophe has come. The thunder and lightning rolled, as if to destroy the world. However, when the calamity entered the Shura hell and crossed the space barrier of the God-defying realm, it was consumed by a force. Is this the power of the realm? Duan Lingshan's eyes flashed, and he guessed what the power was that consumed the power of heaven for him. The power of the realm. And the power of the realm was also consumed a lot in an instant. A time, in the anti-God realm, a group of supreme powers also felt the vibration and consumption of the power of the realm. What's the situation? Why did the power of the realm suddenly disappear so much? Could it be that some outsiders attacked us against the God realm? The anti-God realm leads to the outside world, and there is a formal space channel. If the aborigines of the anti-God realm are strong enough, they can forcibly break the space barrier and return to the anti-God realm. And in the process, they will not be blocked by the power of the realm, because The power of the realm recognizes him as own. However, if they were not the aborigines of the God-defying realm, they would encounter the rejection of the power of the realm if they wanted to take the informal channel. Unless the strength is strong enough to give back all the power of the realm that is obstructed in front of him in one go, it is almost impossible to break into the anti-God realm. Moreover, over the years, the realm power of the anti-God realm has been supplemented and improved by the realm power of the subordinate realms, those subordinate realms of the God-defying realm, because their realm power and the realm of the God-defying realm are integrated into one. So the aborigines of the God-defying realm can also easily enter those subordinate realms. For example, when Duan Lingtian left the anti-God realm for the first time, before entering the outside world for the first time, he once visited a subordinate realm of the anti-God realm, Roundabout. The consumption of the power of this realm is located in the Azura Hell. As the world master of the anti-God realm, Xiao Mubai naturally guarded the anti-God realm all the time. After sensing the movement, he immediately followed the movement and entered the Azura Hell. He has also been to this place in the Shura region many times, so not unfamiliar. Soon, he came to the place where the movement happened. That is, although they were far apart, Xiao Mubai could still clearly see that the figure in the center of the storm in the distance was the Duan Lingtian he had only seen not long ago. Duan Lingtian he. Seeing Duan Lingtian bathed in the thunder punishment of heavenly tribulation, his body was turbulent like a sword, and the whole person was like a sharp sword. This is not an ordinary catastrophe. Xiao Mubai quickly confirmed this. Duan Lingtian is not the strongest yet. He can also confirm this. However, the current Duan Lingshan's combat power in his eyes is definitely not weaker than the average Xian First Order, and even stronger than most Xian Second Order. How is this possible? Even if it is as strong as the invincible upper god Venerable, the strength is not as strong as the first rank of the strongest. And now, Duan Lingtian, who has obviously not yet stepped into the Xian, has shown a strength comparable to the Second Order Xian. How could this not shock Xiao Mubai? Could it be? Xiao Mubai was no ordinary semi-sage. His age is considered young among the contemporary half-sages in the myriad realms, and even beyond the realms. Could it be? His swordsmanship has entered the Seventh Order. Thinking of this possibility, Xiao Mubai couldn't help taking a deep breath, looking forward again, full of horror. Call! Call! I don't know when next to Xiao Mubai, two more old figures appeared. Is this Duan Lingtian? One of them asked Xiao Mubai. Xiao Mubai didn't expect that even these two old fellows who had been sleeping in seclusion all the year round were alarmed by Duan Lingshan's movement this time. Even out of the gate. Yes. Xiao Mubai nodded. He's not the strongest yet. The catastrophe he is facing now is even stronger than the previous 10,000-year catastrophe that the strongest need to face. With such a strong catastrophe, how could he still have the upper hand? These two are the other two semi-sages in the anti-God realm, and they're the kind of semi-sages with dark wounds. The last 10,000-year catastrophe seriously injured them. Of course, they are also very old. The next 10,000-year catastrophe, they have no confidence that they can survive. Duan Lingtian, he should have understood the 7th rank of Kendo. In addition, his space law should be completely integrated with Kendo, and he has already stepped into the realm of great perfection. Xiao Mubai looked at the front with a dignified expression. He usually seemed steady, but his voice now trembled a little. He stepped into the Forbidden Realm. Forbidden Realm. Once you enter, you will be obliterated by heaven. After the historical separation, there are not many people who have stepped into this realm, but there are still some. And those people, without exception, were all killed by the heavenly tribulation thunder punishment. Because of this, insiders like Xiao Mubai call that realm a Forbidden Realm. Forbidden Realm. One of the 4 realms of heaven and earth comprehends the 7th level, not touching the threshold, but completely stepping into the 7th level. At the same time, incorporating that kind of law of the 4 realms of heaven and earth also steps into the realm of great perfection. Both are indispensable. Satisfying both is a forbidden state. Chapter 4540. Forbidden Realm. I feel that his vigor and blood are majestic, and he looks young. So young he has such achievements. Are we people from the God-defying realm? If we are not the people of the God-defying realm, how can we be protected by the power of the realm of our God-defying realm? Even if there is the protection of the power of the realm, it is generally difficult for people who step into the taboo realm to completely stop the calamity of this taboo realm. How could he be so relaxed? Several ancient beings in the God-defying realm, while whispering for a while, looked at Xiao Mubai again. They were puzzled. While they were sleeping, such an existence appeared in the anti-God realm. Didn't Xiao Mubai remind the other party not to easily step into the forbidden realm? In the past, Xiao Mubai's father, because before the imminent arrival of the unstoppable 10,000-year calamity, no longer suppressed it and forcibly stepped into the taboo realm, so that he died and disappeared. In the anti-God realm, after the historical separation, although there has not been a case of a non-powerful person stepping into a forbidden realm. However, there are many such cases in the realm outside the realm, and even in all realms, without exception, all dead body. Yes, those are all high-ranking gods, and they all died under the taboo realm. Looking at the performance of this little guy, it's really possible to survive the calamity of this forbidden realm. If he can successfully cross the calamity and step into the realm of the strongest in the future, wouldn't he be directly the existence of the 7th rank of the strong? Several old antiques from the anti-God realm took a deep breath after discussing this. Xiao Mubai also glanced at them at this time, and both saw the heat and excitement in each other's eyes. The 7th rank of the strongest. This realm, once you step into it, look beyond the realm, and even the 10,000 realms, it will definitely be called invincible. At that time, the anti-God realm, because of the emergence of such an existence, will surpass any realm in the myriad realms, and will become the leader of the myriad realms, and the upper 3 realms will be ranked at the back. To know, outside the world, and even the contemporary world, the strongest, that is, the existence of the 6th rank of the strongest. That is, the Jie Zun realm powerhouse. Outside the realm is the Saint powerhouse. In today's anti-God realm, in the eyes of many people from the realm of the world, there's still a realm where a strong person from the realm of the realm sits. In fact, in the anti-God realm, there has long been no real world powerhouse. Xiao Mubai's father died many years ago. The reason why he hid the news was because he was worried that if the news spread, it would bring difficulties to the anti-God realm. Any realm in the world is a competitive relationship with each other. A powerful realm will suppress the weak realm and even make it its own subsidiary realm. For example, under the anti-God realm, they have conquered many weak realms as their subordinate realms. Certainly, this news can be hidden for a while, but not forever. I'm afraid it won't be long before there will be some powerhouses from other realms who will come to the anti-God realm to explore the truth and see if the realm powerhouse of the anti-God realm is still there. The anti-God realm has long hidden dangers. Over the years, the reason why Xiao Mubai has paid attention to some genius monsters and even spent a lot of effort to help is to make more powerful people born in the God-defying realm. I even long for the appearance of a real-world powerhouse in it. Duan Lingtian was also one of the talented and powerful people Xiao Mubai took a fancy to. Of course, in addition to this, Xiao Mubai is also working hard to improve his strength. If he wants to step into the realm of the realm as soon as possible, then he can have enough strength to protect the realm of the gods. And now, at this moment, Xiao Mubai and the other half-step realm powerhouses in the anti-God realm were placed outside the realm as half-step saints, the 5th-tier supreme powerhouses. Looking at Duan Lingtian, who was transcending the tribulation, His eyes and face, the excitement on the board is obvious. Several seniors, Duan Lingshan's tribulation movement is not small. I am afraid that even the rest of the world will feel it. Xiao Mubai looked at a few people and said solemnly, "Next, let's do our best to help Duan Lingtian hide. Otherwise, if people from other realms or even the upper three realms know that there is an existence in our God-defying realm who is expected to pass the taboo realm, they will definitely not let him grow up. Going through the robbery of the Forbidden Realm is equivalent to getting the pass of the Xian's 7th rank, even if it is only the upper god. After this calamity has passed, the laws of great perfection and the 7th order heaven and earth have converged into one body. As long as you step into the realm of the strongest, you are directly the existence of the 7th order of the strongest. At that time, it will be directly outside the world, and even the strongest in the world. Enough to push the world horizontally, invincible. Not bad. Don't let him be exposed. Other realms, how can it be the upper three realms? It is absolutely impossible for us to allow us to appear in the God-defying realm to survive the taboo realm. I'm afraid it's hard to hide this matter, but we can set up some blindfolds on this basis. Just as Xiao Mubai thought, although Duan Lingtian was in the realm of the God-defying realm in Shurahel, because the Forbidden Realm came from outside the God-defying realm, he quickly attracted the attention of outsiders, especially the upper three realms. In the upper three realms, it didn't take long to know about this. Over the years, although the upper three realms are above the myriad realms and are the three most powerful realms in the myriad realms, they are always prepared for danger and staring at other realms, especially the 18 middle realms, including the defying God realm. So, on the side of the anti-God realm, there was a big movement of Duan Lingshan's tribulation, and the person in charge of the tracking on the upper three realms quickly discovered it. When the news was sent back to the upper three realms, the 3.5-step realm venerables of the 5th order Xian in the upper three realms, who were responsible for this piece of docking, also personally crossed the space and came to the vicinity of the anti-God realm, looking at the amazing catastrophe in the distance. This catastrophe is not a 10,000-year catastrophe faced by the strongest. This seems to be a robbery in the Forbidden Realm. In the anti-God realm, is there a superior who has taken this step and ushered in this mortal catastrophe? For the upper three worlds, although the taboo realm catastrophe is rare, it is not a secret. In the upper three realms, every once in a while there will be one or two amazing beings, the kind of beings that have the ability to attract the taboo realm. Certainly, this kind of existence, it is impossible to choose to take a critical step, which will lead to the calamity of the taboo realm. Because, in the history of the upper three realms, no one has been able to successfully survive the heavenly tribulation of the taboo realm. This catastrophe is also known as the death catastrophe. Save a life. As soon as you step into the realm of the strongest, you are directly the powerhouse of the 6th order realm of the super strong. Isn't it fragrant? Why take such a big risk to cross the robbery? However, although I know that this is a catastrophe, the three of them still sent the news back to their respective realms, so that the realm powerhouses in their realm would know about it. Chapter 45-41. The Upper Three Realms. As the three strongest realms among the 10,000 realms, have consolidated their transcendent status in various ways since ancient times. The following 18 realms have always been the targets of their suppression. Of course, if they could, they would also like to suppress the 18th realm and even reduce it to their own subsidiary realm. However, because the 18 realms support each other, even if they have this heart, it is difficult for them to realize their dream. However, although they cannot suppress the middle 18 realms, their surveillance of the middle 18 realms has never stopped. Now, the changes on the side of the anti-God realm were immediately known to them. The God-defying realm in the middle 18 realms, following the last time someone realized the way of time and kendo to the point where they touched the threshold of the 7th order. This time, Someone simply stepped into the seventh order of the four worlds. People from the God-defying realm, the superior gods who crossed the taboo realm, also understood the way of swordsmanship, the seventh level of swordsmanship. Could it be the successor of the sword of time in the past? Even though this is a calamity of death, it is impossible for people from the God-defying realm to survive, but you still have to keep an eye on it. Humph! I'll go and see for myself. What is the holy place of the upper gods who have comprehended swordsmanship to the seventh rank in the anti-god realm? In the upper three realms, 2 or 3 figures each cross the boundary. These existences, without exception, are all strong in the realm of the world, equivalent to the existence of the strong saints in the land outside the world. They, spanning various realms, watched closely the changes in the God-defying realm. It's really that the upper gods have attracted the forbidden realm of catastrophe. Humph! Under such a catastrophe he will surely die. After the historical separation, I haven't heard of anyone who can take this step. In history, there have been many high-ranking gods who have taken this step, but in the end, they all died. One after another, torch-like gazes passed through the space barriers and landed in the direction of the anti-god realm. In their eyes, the sky thunders rolling in the distance, and the calamity is surging. But under the calamity, a figure was shaky. After a moment, they saw that the figure suddenly disappeared, and the catastrophe, after shaking for a period of time, also disappeared out of thin air, dead. The Tao of Heaven is irreversible. The Tao of Heaven cannot allow beings who master the law of great perfection and the seventh order heaven and earth to exist at the same time. Those superpowers in the God-defying realm are too stupid. It is rare for such a genius to appear in their realm, and they even let him take risks. If you don't take risks, as long as you step into the superpower, you will be a real-world powerhouse. Perhaps the anti-god realm wants to have a seventh-order Xeon existence in their own family. After all, they already have a Xeon sixth-order existence. It seems that the old guy of the sixth rank of Xeon in the anti-god realm is still alive, and his strength should be improved again. Otherwise, it is impossible to live to the present. The powerhouses of the upper three worlds, when communicating with the people around them, also came from where, and where did they go back? The old guy of the sixth rank of the God-defying realm Xeon in their mouths is the former Jia Zun realm powerhouse of the God-defying realm, and the father of the current God-defying realm world master, Xiao Mubai. Of course, Xiao Mubai's father had long since died, but the news has been kept secret so far. It is impossible for the powerhouses of the upper three realms to think of. Today, the existence of the God-defying realm who challenged the taboo realm grew up outside the realm, but only temporarily returned to the God-defying realm to survive the calamity, and they're even less likely to think. What they saw just now was just an illusion arranged by a group of half-step world respected powerhouses from the anti-god realm, including Xiao Mubai, the anti-god realm, and the half-step realm of the realm joined forces, to reluctantly set up an illusion that could hide the power of the realm of the upper three realms. Certainly, it is also because the realms of the upper three realms are far away. Otherwise, it will be difficult to hide from them. And they were not surprised by this result, because it was all they expected. Against God realm, Shura Hell, Duan Lingtian, relying on the experience left by the Wukong old man, successfully passed through the calamity of the forbidden realm. In the end, these spatial forces converged into a sword on the surface of his body, and the sword light shot straight into the sky, as if to pierce the sky. If it wasn't for the half-step realm powerhouses who were present to block this scene, I'm afraid it would be difficult to hide the sky and the sea, hide the upper three realms and the realm powerhouses in the surrounding realm who are eager to move. Although it is still a high-ranking god. But it feels like the soul has been sublimated in a strange way. Duan Lingtian gradually came back to his senses, feeling the changes in his body. The divine power did not change, but the space swordsmanship was a step further, and it was perfectly integrated with the space laws of the great perfection. In a single thought, the perfect space law combined with the seventh order swordsmanship, fierce and unparalleled, as if invincible. Next, what I'm going to do? It's stepping into Xian. As long as I step into the realm of Xian, I will be enough to step into the seventh level of Xian. Once he steps into the seventh rank of Xian, it also means that his strength will surpass that of the outer world, and even all the contemporary Xians in the world. As far as the current situation is concerned, if I want to become a Xian, there are two ways to go. The first way is to step into the Xian through the Tree of Life. The second way is to step into the Xian through the 5 elements gods. Both paths can help him step into Xian. Compared with the former, the latter is slightly less difficult. Just let the gods of the 5 elements grow to their final form. For the former, it is necessary to devour the life force of other divine trees of life to strengthen one's own divine tree of life. And the divine tree of life is generally only found in the small world within the body of the strongest. Now, his strength may not be weaker than that of the weakest, but once his true strength is revealed, he will definitely be lost. From this moment, until I step into the realm of Xian, I must keep a low profile and keep a low profile. Otherwise, there must be many people in the land outside the world, and even those strong 6th-order Xians in the world, and there must be no existence in this world that is stronger than them. Tomato Novel Network in this world. Who doesn't want to be the boss, the most powerful group of people? Being the boss for so many years. Now, some people are expected to grow beyond themselves. And how many people can tolerate it? Thank you, Xiao Jeju. Thank you, seniors. Duan Lingtian, who took a deep breath, came back to his senses, looked at Xiao Mubai, and a few others bowed and saluted. Although he was in the calamity just now, he still noticed the actions of Xiao Mubai and others and guessed the intention of their actions, which was purely to protect him. Otherwise, there might be a lot of realm powerhouses from the middle 18th realm and the upper 3 realms who came to kill him now. Chapter 45-42. After Duan Lingtian thanked Xiao Mubai and the others, several people have not had time to respond to Duan Lingtian. Suddenly, above the sky, there was a sudden burst of thunder, like a giant beast roaring filial piety. Then, under the eyes of Duan Lingtian, who raised his head subconsciously, the space barrier above the sky suddenly became transparent. In the distance, the layers of space barriers in the distance are also transparent. At a glance, it seems to be able to penetrate through countless space barriers and see the deepest part. How is this going? What's the situation? How come the space barrier in this direction has become transparent? Obviously, the space barrier is still there and it has not become weak, but it has become transparent. At this moment, even Xiao Mubai and the others who had lived for a long time and had lived for a long time were still full of doubts. This is the first time they have seen such a scene in their life, after living for so long. This, an ominous premonition, faintly rose in Duan Lingshan's heart. After all, this was after he had just successfully survived the tribulation. Such a sudden change is not a good sign, and when Duan Lingtian and the others were puzzled, whether it is in the anti-god realm or in other realms of myriad realms, even out of bounds, all people, all lives, as long as they look up at the sky at this time, they will see that the sky has changed. It's transparent. One after another, transparent space barriers are presented in front of everyone's eyes. What's the situation? What happened? What happened? Not only are all sentient beings puzzled and shocked, even sentient beings outside the world also don't know what the scene that appears in the sky in front of them means. I have lived for tens of thousands of years, and this is the first time I have seen such a scene. What is going on here? I've read many ancient books and secrets, but I've never heard that the sky will become like this. Did something happen? At this moment, whether it is the life of the world or the life outside the world, all those who are not in retreat, but those who notice the abnormal scene in the sky, all look up to the sky. In full view, behind the sky, behind the layers of transparent space barriers, billowing dark clouds suddenly appeared, accompanied by a deafening roar. Lightning and thunder appear. Then, on the edge of the dark cloud, a layer of golden light suddenly appeared, and the golden light appeared at once, and finally gathered into a text that all living beings can understand. Congratulations to Duan Lingtian, the high-ranking in the God-defying realm, who has successfully passed through the taboo realm, and is expected to become the first high-ranking 7th-rank powerhouse after the historical partition, surpassing Jesuin and saints. When this line of text appeared, most people were at a loss. Forbidden Realm Catastrophe? What is that? Duan Lingtian, the high-ranking in the anti-God realm? Who is it? Do not know. But, although most of these people don't know what it is and what it means. However, the 7th rank of the Xian, as well as being above Jiazun and saints, there are still many people who know what this means. Wanjia, is there going to be an existence above the world and saints? Outside the world, many strong people took a breath of cold air. Duan Lingtian of the God-defying realm? It's not the upper 3 realms. This anti-God realm, I remember it is the realm of the 18th realm. However, when those who know what the Forbidden Realm Catastrophe means, at this time they all changed in color. In particular, the powerhouses from the upper 3 realms who came to watch Duan Lingtian transcend the tribulation. As soon as I returned to their respective realms, before I was hot, I saw this heavenly word that suddenly appeared. When they reach the realm of their cultivation, they naturally know that the only one who has the means to show such words to all beings in the world, and even beyond the world, is the aloof Tao of heaven. That high-ranking in the anti-God realm actually succeeded in transcending the calamity. How did he get through the robbery in the Forbidden Realm? Damn, we've been tricked. A group of experts in the realm of the upper 3 realms felt that they had been deceived, and then Chi was furious and set off to break out of the realm again. In an instant, one after another figure appeared in the area where Duan Lingtian had crossed the tribulation before. The Shura Hell, which connects multiple realms, has become lively at this moment, with the arrival of the powerhouses of the upper 3 realms. In the 18 realms, there are also many strong people who cross the border. However, when they came out, they were more to watch the fun. Soon, Xiao Mubai and the half-step world respecters of the God-defying realm faced off against all the powerhouses in the world. At this moment, whether it was Xiao Mubai or the few half-step world respecters around Xiao Mubai, they felt a pressure inexplicably. In front of him, only the experts in the realm of Jiazun are no less than 20. And it's still increasing. Against God realm, hand over the person who passed through the Forbidden Realm. A sturdy and tall figure stepped out into the sky, and wherever it passed, the terrifying aura raged, causing many nearby half-step world respecters to retreat. It's the realm powerhouse Lei Hong of the Mingguang realm. Someone recognized the person and exclaimed, Lei Hong, the 3 most powerful realms of all realms. One of the upper 3 realms, the realm powerhouses in the Mingguang realm, became famous very early and their strength is strong. Inverse God realm, if you don't want to be broken, hand over that Duan Lingtian. Defying the God realm, hand over the people, or the realm will be destroyed today. In the other 2 realms of the upper 3 realms, at this time, there are also real-world experts walking out slowly. The powerful pressure, like mountains, enveloped Xiao Mubai and the others, causing them to spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. Half-step Jiazun, in front of these powerful Jiazun realm who have been famous for many years, is too weak after all. There was a hint of helplessness in Xiao Mubai's eyes. Such a big thing happened. It is naturally impossible for the strong saints in the land outside the world to not pay attention to the side of the God-defying realm. Even in the Bibo Tianfu that Duan Lingtian had joined, a strong sage walked out and brought 2 people with him, one of whom was the master of the Golden Dragon Palace, Xiao Tianci. At this time, Xiao Tiancis' eyes were also very complicated. Duan Lingtian actually did it. Such a crucial step has been taken. This time, if he can escape the catastrophe, and when he becomes a superpower, he will be the first superpower 7th order existence in the world, and even beyond the realm. Thinking of this, Xiao Tian's heart burst into flames. After all, he and Duan Lingtian have a pretty good relationship. I really didn't expect that such a genius and evildoer would turn out to be my Bibo Tianfu disciple. The sage powerhouse of Bibo Tianfu sighed softly. I hope he will stay away from the God-defying realm and hide when the Taoist words appear that day. Otherwise, I'm afraid that with the destruction of the God-defying realm, I will die together and disappear. Chapter 45-43 Break the World. Xiao Mubai wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth, stood up, stared at the realm experts in the upper 3 realms. His face was not frightened, and even smiled. You strong men in the upper 3 realms, are you sure you want to take action against us in the God-defying realm? When the voice fell, he raised his hand, and a floating shadow bead appeared. One after another floating shadow mirror flashed out. A purple proud figure appeared in front of everyone. At this moment, this young man dressed in purple, with a handsome face and extraordinary temperament, was staring indifferently in the direction of the powerhouses in the upper 3 realms. I, Duan Lingtian, speak here. If any God realm suffers any damage because of my success in transcending the calamity, if I go against the strong in the God realm, I will be obliterated by others. The day when I, Duan Lingtian, step into the 7th rank of the Xian will be the time when I will kill all the 6th order Xians from all walks of life, and even beyond the world. You can take it lightly. So, please. The voice fell, and Duan Lingtian's figure disappeared from the floating image. Xiao Mubai stared at a group of realm powerhouses in the upper 3 realms with a sarcastic smile, only to see that everyone on the other side changed their expressions, and their faces were extremely ugly. Even the bright light world powerhouse Lei Hong, who had previously acted aloofly and looked up to, turned gloomy for a moment, turned around and left without saying a word. Destroying the God realm and destroying all sentient beings in the God realm is not difficult for them. However, as it stands now, Duan Lingtian had obviously left the anti-God realm. If Duan Lingtian is safe, even if the anti-God realm is destroyed, Duan Lingtian should become the existence of the 7th rank of Xian, and he can still succeed, and there will be no changes. And once Duan Lingtian steps into the 7th rank of Xian, he will no longer be invincible when looking at this world. At that time, even if he wants to destroy the upper 3 realms, no one can stop him. The 7th order Xian and the 6th order Xian are a watershed like a chasm. In the past, there was the existence of the 6th order Xian, and he was seriously injured in the return to the ruins, left by the 7th order Xian before the historical partition, and almost died. That was still the 7th order Xian strong before the historical partition. But the power of returning to the ruins he left behind made the current powerhouse of the Xian 6th order almost perish. The power of the 7th order Xian can be imagined. Reijian is gone. Mingguang Jie thought and followed. The place was dead silent. No one dared to ignore the message from that person in the floating shadow mirror just now. Perhaps now he is just a small high-ranking god, and anyone present can easily handle him and kill him. However, as long as he steps into the realm of Xian, he is an existence above the 6th order Xian, Xian's 7th order powerhouse. After the historical partition, there has never been such a strong person. Follow the people of Mingguang realm. People from the other 2 realms of the upper 3 realms also left one after another. For a while, only the powerhouses from the outside world who arrived later, and the powerhouses from the other 17 realms in the 18th realm were left. Xiao Jieju, congratulations and congratulations. Among them, there are many people who are acquainted with Xiao Mubai, the world master of the anti-God realm. through voice transmission to congratulate Xiao Mubai. As for opening congratulations, who dares? Aren't you afraid of being settled by the powerhouses of the upper three realms? The powerhouses of the upper three realms may not dare to do anything against the God-defying realm due to the threat of Duan Lingtian, a rookie of the God-defying realm, but they have no qualms about doing so, who made Duan Lingtian not exist in their realm. The powerhouses of the 18 realms slowly dispersed. The powerhouses who came from behind the world also gradually dispersed. Even the strong sage from Bibo Tianfu knew that Duan Lingtian was still a disciple of Bibo Tianfu, but he didn't dare to have too much contact with the half-step world lords of the anti-god realm. Who knows if the realm powerhouses of the upper three realms will settle accounts in the autumn, seeing a group of wolves come and go quickly. Xiao Mubai and the others breathed a sigh of relief and then smiled at each other. I hope Duan Xiaoyu will step into the realm of Xian as soon as possible. Now, these old antiques don't dare to call Duan Lingshan's name directly, because they know that once Duan Lingtian breaks through, he will be above them. I didn't expect it to make him come to the front. Xiao Mubai smiled. At the same time, there are also many people who know Duan Lingtian who are shocked because of the heavenly words. Like the wind, Feng Qingyang also took the last step and was about to find someone to go to the calamity. Unexpectedly, I saw the sudden text of heavenly Tao. Little god, he successfully crossed the robbery. The upper god succeeded in transcending the tribulation. Feng Qingyang smiled wryly. I'm not competent enough as a goddess. After all, I let my disciples get to that point first. I have to hurry up too. With a thought, Feng Qingyang stepped into the teleportation formation. Duan Lingtian? At this moment, in the anti-god realm, everyone who knew Duan Lingtian was a little confused. Forbidden realm? What is that? Most of them don't know what that means. Only the superpowers of the god-defying realm know what the forbidden realm means. However, although many people don't know what that means, but being able to let Tian Dao drop the words, it can be seen that this matter is not simple. Duan Lingtian, amazing! This little guy, I didn't expect to grow to such a level. It's really surprising. Duan Lingtian has come this far. Everyone who had an intersection with Duan Lingtian in the past was amazed, but those who had a gap with Duan Lingtian all changed their expressions. Out of bounds, in a ruined city, a femininity youth whose arms shook and blood left his body rose from the sky. His face changed for a while. Duan Lingtian? How could he have taken this step? Impossible, impossible. This feminine young man, after muttering to himself, seemed to be insane, turned into a stream of light and disappeared in place. And this person is no one else. It is the Yun Qingyan that is integrated with the Soul Clan. To be precise, he is now called Yun Xinfeng. It must be a dream, must be dreaming. But I haven't slept dash. Beyond the world and even the world. It hasn't been quiet for a few days. On the horizon, the vision reappears. A familiar scene made everyone tremble. What's going on? Tian Dao text is about to appear again. Duan Lingtian has stepped into the 7th rank of Xian so quickly. When many people thought that it was Duan Lingtian who stepped into the 7th rank of Xian, so Heavenly Tao came to inform again. The new Tian Dao text also appeared in front of each of them in a timely manner. Congratulations to the mid-ranking gods of the god-defying realm, who has successfully passed through the taboo realm, and is expected to become one of the only 2 supreme 7th-order powerhouses after the historical partition, surpassing the world and the saints. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.